Hello everyone and welcome to Thursday live lessons here on Ukulele on the Ground. My name is Aldrine Guerrero. I'm joined by Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
It is 1 p.m. and on a Thursday, so it is time for Thursday live lessons. I'm so sorry. I'm kind of low energy because it's like super hot and it's kind of draining here on Kauai right now. I was just telling the guys that and like I have a baby monitor at home to watch my kid, and on the baby monitor there's a you can see the temperature, and it reached 93 yesterday. It was so hot. I think I took a shower, and like 30 minutes afterwards, I just started really sweating. It was so gross. But you know what?
That's actually pretty hot for Hawaii.
Yeah, 93 is hot.
Yeah, there are places on the mainland that get really, really hot, but
it's more dry heat.
Yeah,
this is
for
humid.
Hawaii, it gets that's
super
pretty hot.
humid and it's just sweaty and gross.
On the way to work, like I heard on the radio, they're talking. They're like, "Oh, it's 90% humidity," and then they're like, well, at least it's not 100. I was like, no, that's still pretty bad. That's still not.
Where the trade winds at? This is only Kona winds, and it's just so muggy. And I mean, I guess the trade winds are here whenever we need them, and that's kind of what got rid of all those all those hurricanes for us, right? Because there's the hurricane that came, bam, here comes the trade winds. What hurricane, right? I mean, at least on Kauai, but. Yeah, so I apologize for the low energy, but we're gonna do the Thursday live lesson as we usually do. We're gonna be answering some questions any way that we can get them, through email, through the website, through the forum, through phone calls, through Hayes on the street, through however you guys want to give us your questions. We'll answer them. We'll come up with I'll give you my best answer, and then these two guys right here will chime in with their 2 cents and come up with the best possible answer for you. If you are listening to this as a podcast, thank you so much. If you're watching this over on U Plus Live and participating in the chat, thank you very, very, very much. Now, without further ado, let's get started with our first question. Hi.
So this is from Mark.
Yes.
And he says, I'm embarking on a new challenge in my ukulele journey, and I was hoping for some tips on transposing and composing existing songs for solo ukulele. Okay. At this point, my thought process is to find the chords for the song, get the feel rhythm of the song, and learn the melody. Yeah. My challenge right now is trying to incorporate chord melodies and fingerpicking in a way that keeps the essence of the song. In fact, I think a prime example of this is Aldrine's Senor Viktor. Many of the songs I wanted to learn have a heavy, distorted rock sound or have very bassy runs. How can I make a thick sound on the ukulele without using pedals? Yeah. And then he listed some songs that he wants to learn, and it's like anime theme songs, which
they're pretty involved. Yeah.
In another message on the forum too, he's like, I know the Yu boys are down with anime. And
which animes did he list out?
Full Metal Alchemist, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Furikuri, Samurai Champloo, and then I think it's a Blood Blockade Battlefront.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
I've heard of everything else. All the other ones are classics, especially Samurai Champloo, one of my favorite series of all time. I got my wife into that, and my wife doesn't like anime really. I mean, Sailor Moon.
Did you get her into it like after I met her for the first time?
Well, you met her for the first time over in California, right? Yeah. It was after that.
And then we were riding in the car, and you were playing Nujabes, and she's like, it's okay. And I was like, what? This is
Get out of the car right now. In this freeway, get out.
Do not disgrace Seba June's name.
Aldrine, I'm doing you a favor. Get out of that right now.
I think I gotta tell you, I don't think it's gonna work.
I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, well, okay. So, by the way, great list of anime and stuff. I know Inuyasha has launched 1,000 fangirls and fan fiction like on online and stuff. Yu Yu Hakusho, same thing. And I love me some anime themes and stuff. I've done a bunch of them. I've done I guess First Love isn't really an anime theme. First Love is from like a video game. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm talking about? You know.
Oh, okay.
It's by Utada Hikaru. First Love. Yeah. Not the one from Kingdom Hearts. Not the Kingdom Hearts song. That's simple and clean.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I know.
Okay, yeah. So I've done a bunch. I've done that. I've done one from Samurai Champloo, which is, I think he listed Shiki no Uta. I've done that before. But okay, so getting to the nitty gritty of his question, how do you arrange, songs like that? Well, there's gonna have to be a lot of give and take. Okay, so with those themes, if it's like super duper involved and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts, you kind of have to pick the part that stands out to you and then like focus on that. Sometimes not necessarily the melody, but you do have to put the melody in always in front. But if there's something if there's like a counter melody and stuff, see if you can kind of add that on there as well. But anything that kind of sticks out to you. So if I were to listen to a song and for example, let's just take some song that everyone knows. Hotel California. Okay, so I'm taking Hotel California. I'm doing my arrangement and stuff. Of course, I'll learn the chords and I'll learn the the basic rhythm. I'll just kind of play the song as is. I'm kind of playing along with the album and stuff. Like, here are my chords. I'm doing B minor. What would that note be? So I play an A minor. That's fine. So that B minor doesn't make sense to me. Oh, that's right. It will be F sharp. What am I doing? Okay, so what I did there, I followed the chords, which would be B minor and then F sharp. A and E. So those are our first four chords in Hotel California. But I did something else there. I did. Why? Because that's kind of what stands out to me. When I'm listening to Hotel California, I'm hearing, the Eagles play those very haunting chord progressions. But then there's something that sticks out. 3 notes.
It's kind of like a bass line run or something.
What's that?
The camera is falling down. So
it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah. So and another thing too, if you're listening to Hotel California, there's there's a pair of like high sounding like bright guitars are kind of going on, and that's what I'm doing with the G and the A string. So that's mainly the main melody, right? Which I'm not playing the melody, but I'm just following the rhythm. So it's not like that's not the actual notes that they're doing there, but I'm following the rhythm so that the audience can be like, okay, well, I get it, I get what that part's supposed to be. But once I hit them with the and then they're like, oh, okay, so that's I get what he's trying to emulate now. So you got those nice highs, nice bright, bright sounds, and you've got this kind of bass melody line. Because if I didn't put those bass lines in there, if I just went, it just sounds so empty. And it's like, okay, well, I think that's Hotel California. But if I did, so it's those little things, like whatever kind of stands out to you, you want to make sure that you're including that into your arrangement. So let's take a look at one of the songs that you listed, which is Shiki no Uta, which I did, an arrangement of. What I did with that is I learned the chords, just like how you did. I learned the chords, I learned the groove, I learned the rhythm patterns and stuff, and that's kind of to just get to know the song. And once my brain kind of gets to know the song, figure out the melody line, which would be. Right, that's like the main melody of the song, and then I'm gonna add in whatever chords behind it, which would be so it goes to D minor, so it's just that D minor to C. So I got so that's C. So I guess it has an E minor. It's like an E minor, D minor, and C. So my C, I hit that there, and I hit the C here, and I hit this D minor there, and this A minor here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking advantage of chord inversion. So I would figure out my my melody line, and notice that I intentionally use my melody line on my A string, so that anything that I do with these 3 strings up here would just be kind of as a background, or or a counter melody if I want to do a counter melody. For example, if the counter melody goes something like I can just kind of mix that in with the see what I mean? So I would have that. So I would have these counter melodies, I'd have these melody lines, and I would have the the chord behind it. So I would have like a checklist to see if I'm covering my ground. And the more ground you cover in your checklist, the more people will kind of recognize the song. But like I said, it's kind of a give and take, because your ukulele with your 4 strings, you're not gonna be able to do everything. So sometimes you're gonna have to sacrifice some of the some of the things that you hear, that and you have to figure out which one you can do and which one you can't you can do or you can't do without. Another example of this is Jake Shimabukuro's "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." Okay, so "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," the first thing that you hear in the Beatle version is da da dum dum dum. That's the first thing that you hear. Jake completely omitted that out, even though it's one of the most, it's like the first thing that you hear in that song, and it's like the intro. It's one of the most iconic parts in that tune. It gets it kind of ready. Bum 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 ba da da dum 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 da da dum da da dum la da dum 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 dum. Then it gets I look at you all. But then for him, it's kind of like a give and take, like I said. So he took that out, but what he did double down on is a descending like bass line, because Paul McCartney has this awesome bass line in that song. I look at you all, see the light there that's sleeping. So he has the main melody of while doing that bass line. So he went to, you can hear it. So he's using the C minor, because it's usually an A minor. So he's using the C minor so you can keep these 2 strings open, which would give him the 1 and the 5 of that C, allowing him to create this melody line with the A string. And then this like kind of descending bass line with the with the E. So you can kind of hear that. So these are all things that you want to keep in mind when you're making your arrangement. It is kind of a give and take. You're not going to be able to get everything. So Jake, he sacrificed that bum bum dum 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 dum. Take a listen to that Beatles song again. That part will get stuck in your head. It's like, okay, why wasn't this in the ukulele version? But when you listen to the ukulele version, nothing wrong with it, and it's like, it's this amazing like ukulele rendition of that tune, but he took up one of the most like important parts. It's really just a give and take. So make sure you have your checklist. Okay, I need this in there, I need that in there, this bass line, like you don't have to play the entire bass line, but if there's a bass run in there that like is really memorable, you might want to put that on your checklist, and then go over your list again. So what are things that you can live without and you can't live without, and then see if you can kind of add that into your arrangement. And once you have a good amount of the arrangement ready and listed down, once you start kind of working it out, you might eliminate one or two more just to make sure everything fits, but you have a pretty good map at that point. You're like, okay, I need this, and this. It needs a melody line, it needs the chords, it needs the rhythm. Those are the three main core things that you need, and then everything else is just like cherries jubilee on top of it. So what do you think?
So that's kind of a good one too, right? So like you could, because the ukulele is kind of limited, you could change the key of the song in order to fit your instrument better. So that's kind of what Jake did with
Wama guitar. Yeah. And then sometimes it works out, like Bohemian Rhapsody is in its original key. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes an arrangement sounds better in a different key. Europa, for example, when Pure Heart did it, it was in D minor, but Europa is actually in, I believe, F minor. I think it's in F minor. It's like another kind of weird key. But, it's or F sharp minor, F or F sharp minor, but sometimes keys, will be changed to kind of fit the ukulele. So the D minor worked out because it's got these nice, like kind of open string notes into it, and you can do some cool stuff with it. What's other things?
So with like While My Guitar Gently Weeps, do you think that he changed the key so that he could do the descending bass line? So he had more space to go down?
I think that, he wants to... he likes C minor because he's going to be using these two, not just for the melody line and stuff, but if you notice, like right in the end, he wanted a big finish, to that song. And a way to get that big finish is to make sure that you got your chord taken care of. So you got his chord taken care of, which means you can do anything that he wants in the E and the A, as long as it's, it's in the key. And even then, it was kind of like he was going from major to minor, kind of thing. So he's doing this. Let's see what you hear. So maybe he wants to go. So he wants this. So now he knows that he has another string, the E string. So he can maybe like do a harmony to that. So he can do. So that's the advantage that he has. So he can do like, that crazy like ending part that he did. But, when we break it down arranging wise, it's actually not that he took the easy way, because it's still not easy, but it's like he used the strengths. Yeah, he used the strengths of the ukulele. That's the best way to put it. Like he knew that he could do all the things that he wanted to do with his, with his E and A strings, and these two strings up here will still keep his chord, so he doesn't have to think about the chord anymore. He can just think about like what he's gonna do, and just like even when he's doing stuff up there, he kind of leaves this open, or he'll hit this C right here, so which is still that it's just like an octave down.
Yeah.
So, being smart about the key that you pick is great. Do
you have any favorite keys that you tend to?
Oh, G minor. Like I love G minor. I love F minor. I love G minor. Like it's like
for ukulele specifically.
Yeah, for my stuff. I like G minor. It's just it's great.
What is What is your arrangement of Blackbird? What is that? Is that in a different key, or is that?
No, it's in the same key. It's in G.
Because like, I know we talked about it before, where on the guitar it does like use the full length of the guitar So for your arrangement, you kind of do have to like omit like little parts, right?
Yeah.
Where it just
so you're not gonna get everything. You know. So my arrangement of Blackbird, I kind of play around with more rhythm patterns. So Kahai, can you play the regular Blackbird for me in guitar? Okay, so you already know like those are the notes. But what I'm doing is I'm not playing those. I'm not playing those notes. But I'm playing I'm playing an ascending like chords, which are basically those those notes. But I'm not playing those exact notes. Specifically, I'm playing just like the ascending chords that go along with it. But then I'm using that rhythm pattern that you're doing, right? So. And then this part, I knew that the notes were very important. So play the next part that goes after that. See, there's that bass line that goes I can't do it slow. So there's little illusions that I'm creating that it's like, oh, it sounds kind of like that because something sounds like it's going up. But it's actually not because it goes is what I'm doing, but it's not going. It's not doing what Kai's doing. So do that for me again.
Yeah, it's just like it's another ascending bass line, right? Where it just it goes.
Yeah. So what I'm doing instead is I'm using the bass and I'm doing the melody line of a bum 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 bum, but then it sounds like it. But I'm kind of doing the ascending with the A string, and so I completely flipped it around because I knew I couldn't hit that C and get like the the diminishes that I want in there. So I flipped it around where I use I would get that instead on the C string, and I would get the ascending on the melody string. But then I go descend down on the C afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's just little give and take stuff that you're gonna be doing with your arrangements.
So that is like a direct thing that Mark could think about, right? With his arrangements, because he did say that he's into like songs where it is kind of like there's bass heaviness or there's bass parts. So
if there's some heavy bass parts and some stuff that you hear, don't be afraid to play that on your on your melody string, which would be your A string. Another example is let's go back to Hotel California. So I play it in this. I'll just play it in the key that I play it in. It goes, living it up in the Hotel California. There's like those little parts in there. I know that's being played by the guitar and stuff, but that's like something that you hear, and as a listener to the song, not necessarily a musician to the song, but as a listener, everyone knows that part's coming up. Oh, down, 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 living it up at the Hotel California, da 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 da. Right, like you can just hear it. Like it's part of the song. It's not lyrics, but it's like part of the song. Those are the kind of things that that you should definitely keep in your arrangement. But the hard part is deciding which one of those parts are going to make it in the actual arrangement and which one doesn't, because you can't do everything. You have to realize that you're not able to take that song and copy it exactly to the ukulele, but you can create something that comes close.
It just makes sense because if you're taking a song from a full band or from people who are playing multiple instruments to combine to get the full song,
4-string
ukulele. You're reducing it to one instrument and 4 strings. So it does. You just have to think like, oh, it's gonna need reduction. I gotta cut it somewhere. Yeah. So because it seems like Mark kind of knows what he's doing already, because he mentioned that he's like, okay, I got the chords down, I got the rhythm string pattern down, like I'm figuring out the melody notes and stuff. So I know you got all those all those steps covered.
So now I'm just kind of letting you know about the actual arrangement itself. It's like, okay, keep this in mind, keep that in mind, and make sure to include this, 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 and this. So it's really up to you. I mean, it's going to be your arrangement, so it's ultimately up to you to like what to include and what not to include in there. But it's a guarantee you're gonna have to omit some stuff out.
I think the way he's doing it too, though, like by doing chords and strumming first, that is like pretty important. That sometimes when people try to arrange and then they go melody first, like they figure out the melody and then they're like, okay, now how do I incorporate chords into it? That also, you would think because it's melody first, you can identify it, but sometimes like they don't get the feeling of the song quite right. Like
the feel is important,
especially like with rhythm or groove. Like you don't feel it, and then it's kind of like I can kind of tell what the song is, but it's not like all the way there. So
and that's kind of what I did with Shiki no Uta. Like with Shiki no Uta, like I noticed that like there are some beats that I definitely need the chords on, and there's some beats that I don't need the chords on. So when you do the arrangement of still so da 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 ba da da ba da 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 bum. There's always those hits. Those ones need that chord in there, because if I don't, or if I put it somewhere else, it's not going to have like the same kind of feel, because the accents are going to be different. And that's what Kahai is talking about. You don't want to omit the feeling out of the song, because it's not a certain note, it's not a certain like riff or anything like that. Sometimes it's just something as simple as adding an accent to a beat or to a rhythm. And believe it or not, maybe like your arrangement gets so technical that like you can't strum that chord at that time, or you can't add the accent at that time. So how do you make that sacrifice? So you kind of have to give and take. Da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 bum da da ba da 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 ba da da da. So there's those parts that you need to add that accent to. Yeah, that's what Kai was talking about, right? I was like, right.
And if you take like if you took the same thing and you just played like the melody, it sounds like okay, like you can hear it, but then in my head the analogy is like if it's somebody's just singing it, right? Like you hear them singing it and it's like, oh, that's nice, but there's not really like music behind it or not like the other parts of the song. So yeah, definitely don't overlook. I know some people are like, oh, chords and strumming, it's so basic and it's boring. It's like, but chords and strumming it's really important. Really add a lot.
If you just like watch any of the UU Plus UU Plus solo stuff, I think pretty carefully about where I place those chords, because it's going to be chord and then melody, and then you kind of put them together doing the chord melody thing. But I pick where those chords are going to lie, like really carefully, because I know that if I put them in the wrong place, it's not going to sound right, or the arrangement doesn't sound right and stuff. So I take pride in those UU Plus solos that we do here. And those can be kind of hints. So if you learn some of those, you'll get some hints as to like how I arrange things. And I know those are like easy arrangements and stuff, like for students and whatever. And you're looking more in in my catalog like Senor Viktor, whereas Senor Viktor, that one in particular, I use a lot of rhythm and percussion to mask what I'm doing. Okay, so with that, I mean, right off the bat. So when I did that, I just have that one note, but because I'm kind of doing this Hendrix, kind of approach to it, where like you're getting the muted notes and then that melody line, and then I give you just the just the harmony note of that, but it sounds like a full chord, but it's just these two, and that'll show you kind of my accuracy when I do that song. Like these two strings right here, the G and the A, are muted, and I just use my I'm playing these middle two strings. So I go. it's like the accuracy of that, of just getting the two middle strings. So some people think that like that E chord is tough, like that. The second chord in Senor Viktor is not easy. It's not easy. So but what's cool, like I was saying, because I'm using the the muted notes, kind of like it doubles up as percussion and also as ghost notes, because you can almost kind of hear what it's supposed to, like what the full chord is supposed to be. But I'm only giving you these two notes right here, which is the melody line note and the harmony note. So. And then I finally give you the full chord. So it's like this, then it goes to this. So that's kind of what I did with that arrangement. I kind of like wanted to tease, because that part of the song, it's like someone's telling Senor Viktor, like, one of his cronies are kind of telling him that, like, look, Bandito Tyler is here again. I think he's here in the building. It's like, it's supposed to be like really calm, and then like it's him like standing up from his desk, like, oh my god, I gotta get this guy. Like, this guy is a thorn on my side. So it's like, oh boss, like, I think we have a problem. And then it gets to to the main part, which is doing the same exact thing. Like I'm getting these two middle strings, and I'm muting the outside two strings, and I'm giving you just a melody note and then the harmony note on top of that. But then once I hit that high note, I'm gonna give you the full chord. So it's like a mirror of this, what I did here, I'm gonna do here. So it's like chord, 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 chord at the end, and then back. And then single notes. So I'm like trying to give a little bit of variety, in the in the arrangement. And there's some stuff that I could also hear that I wanted to keep in there. So when I do this live, I do the like the drum part, or like the hi-hat that I don't know what the drummer does. There's like a drum part. It goes da 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 da. Like, I don't have to play that, but as a solo arrangement, I feel like in my head, like that stands out so much. I need that part in there in when I play the solo. So so that's basically what I did for the solo arrangement. I arranged it so that I can still hear the drum part that I hear in my head, because I feel like that's super important. So give and take. Write down the list of like, what you feel like the arrangement needs and what it absolutely needs, and what's like what you could do without, so on and so forth. That's, I think peek in my head of how I arrange things.
Well, if you watch the solo lessons too, I think that also is pretty telling of how you arrange things, where a lot of times when we teach solo arrangements, you teach it like simple, and you'll teach like the basics of it, and then you'll say like, oh, and then you can add all like these
ghost notes and stuff. Yeah.
So it definitely, and it feels like a natural progression just to add those things. It doesn't feel like, oh, he's like forcing, I don't know, ghost notes, or he's forcing techniques just to put it in there.
Because what we're doing in the solos is we're giving you the essentials. We're giving you the chord, and we're giving you the melody line, and we're giving you the groove. Okay, so those three things, if you do all three of those things, you got yourself a pretty good arrangement already. And anything after that is just fairy dust, as we've talked about here.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely like good to just start simple. If you're gonna start with the arrangement, start very simple with either the chords or the melody or something, and then from there just kind of, it's just building blocks, right? You just add like things that you feel like, oh, okay, this can fit into here. This works for this part. This works here. So it's like you might feel like you have to tackle the whole song at once. But you really don't, right? You can break it down into smaller parts.
What I like about arranging and like and doing stuff with the ukulele, because it feels like a puzzle. Really, is what it feels like. You have your pieces. It's like, okay, well, this can go here and this can go there. But like this puzzle is so like, is so great that like other pieces can fit there too. So it's, I don't know, I like it, you know. That's how I see it. They're like, okay, I need this part. Like that's a guarantee that I'm gonna need these two. But I have all these other pieces left. Like which one of these pieces?
And you only have so much space.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Or maybe like a Lego
can,
or something,
can
you know?
fit. But
maybe not a puzzle, more like a Lego, or like you have like the basic whatever, like, you know, like whatever pirate ship, but then I want to add like, you know, a orange tree to it, or like a place where, you know, Luffy can go on the end of the ship and stuff.
It's like a Lego competition where like they have a box and they say, okay, you can build whatever you want, but at the end of it, it has to fit in this box.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I know I can't go bigger than that, I can't go taller than that. So
it's kind of like that. If you think about it that way, you know, it helps, I think. And it helps you have fun with it too, because it's like I have all these pieces. That's kind of what I do when I'm writing a song. Like I'll come up with, you know, like, oh, okay, this riff is pretty cool. I'm gonna record that on my phone. So my phone, if I ever lose my phone, like I lose all my ideas. Like my phone has all my ideas. So you know, like I put it on my phone. I'm like, okay, cool. This is a really cool like riff that I came up with. And then when I'm ready to like either write a song or like or come up with an album and stuff, I listen to all the riffs that I've come with throughout the years and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep this, and this. I think these two right here can actually be in the same song. So I'm gonna figure out a way to work these two together. Maybe this will be the chorus, or this can be the verse, and I'll come up with something for a C section or a D section and stuff. So that's kind of how I do it. I'm not very good with lyrics, but as far as like music wise and stuff, that's what I like to do. I like to just come up with, you know, these like catchy and like really what's the word, like just good melody lines, because that's where it is. If your song doesn't have good melody, then like I don't know, I feel like it's just notes, like you're just trying to be impressive, right? Whoa. Like you're not actually telling the story.
And it doesn't stick with the person.
You're telling the story of how good you are. Like that's basically what it is. And you know, like, and that's fine, I guess, you know, it's fine for some people. But my style is I want there to be a story told, and that's why, like, you know, I don't have the lyrics to, you know, to say it in my an instrumental arrangement. That's what makes it more fun, because it's open to interpretation and stuff. And that's why whenever I'm talking about my tunes, I'm always like, well, that's the part where, you know, his cronies come on and tell him that like because in my mind it's like that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like he's gonna bang on the desk. It's like, I'm gonna get that Tyler, throw it at my side. You know, that's what I think about. But not. Yeah, but that's just me. Maybe I'm the weirdo.
I think also like the fun thing of like taking a song that, you know, has been done before and then trying to arrange it is like that deconstruction of like listening to all the parts and being a more intentful listener. I think that's the right way to say that. It's like to because like I think some, you know, most people like listen to music and then they're like, if you ask them like, oh, what's your favorite part of that song? You know, they might sing like a line from the song, sing the verse or chorus or something, the hook, right? But then like they might not say like, oh, I really like that bass line. The bass line was really groovy. Or like, you know, just what we were talking about with the Beatles is like they have really good descending and ascending bass lines. So that's like a part that people might not inherently recognize, but when you do, like, you know, you figure it out and then you put it in your arrangement, you kind of feel like, oh, this is like, it is like a key part of the song.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's so much like good like background stuff that like when, you know, you don't think about, but if somebody kind of hums it or like, or just, you know, just do it la la la, like you'll instantly know it. Like a Bad Fish is another good one. Like I knew I needed that bass line in there, so I started adding it like maybe last year, the year before, and now it sounds so much better because like, there's just a hint, and it's not even like the full bass line, but it's just a hint,
just
like,
the part that you would recognize.
Like that's it. When you grab hold of me.
Yeah, well,
that's it. That's enough, you know.
It kind of is because the spaces that are empty, you start to hear the other instruments more.
That's true.
So
you
can kind of add those in there
in the empty spaces,
and then it seems like you were playing the whole time. You're playing the bass line the whole time. But
that's what's been good. Like there's those things in there that like if especially if Aaron's singing the song, then I'm like allowed to kind of do like some of the more memorable stuff
in the background.
The background, like what is that? I'm never gonna dance again. And it's something as simple as this. Like that right there.
Yeah.
Just those like 4 notes make so much difference if I play it or not. You know, that when the music died. Something in your eyes, but if you don't put that in there, it's so empty. And those are the kind of things like if I were to make a solo ukulele arrangement of that,
that would have to
have to be in there. You bet I'm putting that in there. You know.
I think like a lot of people also like they watch the solos and then they come back and then they're like, "How do you? I can kind of play it, but how do you know when to strum? Like, or what's the strumming?" And I think like for you though, right? Like. Almost all of the solos, if I asked you like, oh, can you play this without the picking and just strum the whole thing through? You could do that. Like you could, and you can just like strum it out and, you know, not make it crazy or not do anything. And that is like such a good base to start with. And when you hear empty spaces it's just like, it really is easy. People feel like it's super hard, but it's like you have an empty space and then it's just like, oh, my thumb is poised to do a down strum. Might as well do one there. Or like the last one we did was Hole, and I know like that you started doing like more kimohasi kind of strums and stuff, and it's just like because it fits in that those empty spaces where it's like, oh, there's nothing here, so I might as well just fill it in with like, something.
It's with anything, you know. But that's the thing. You kind of have to be like tasteful when it comes to like filling stuff in too, because you can't just, you know, fill a hole for the sake of like filling the hole, right? Like you're not gonna fill a hole with sand when it's like in, you know, when it's part of the
it's like
driveway. It's like, no, that doesn't belong there.
Or it's like if there's like a you know, like a quarter note or something, like a quarter note of empty space in Hole, you're not gonna fill it in with like tremolo picking or something, right? Like that kind of thing.
Or it's like, I know that I could fit 2 8th notes in this quarter note space, but I can also put 4 16th notes or 8 32nd notes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like just do the 2 8th notes or that 1 quarter note. That's totally fine too. So you gotta be tasteful with it.
That's kind of the same thing as like the more chords you learn, the harder it is to not use them.
The more stuff that you learn, period. Yeah.
So, but like I think it is just like if you learn the groove of a song, then you kind of just you feel like you feel those empty spaces like inherently, and then you feel like, oh well,
if it needs something,
because it doesn't always need it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the great thing about learning the ukulele too, is that the more that you learn, the better you are at listening to music. You know. Because you're trying to emulate all of these sounds or like other instruments in your arrangement, and so for that you need to hear like you know you have to be able to kind of hone in your listening on that.
Here's an example. I play at Rob's Good Times Grill here on Kauai like every now and then with my friend. And there was a band that was playing the same night that we were playing, and they were playing that I Saw You in My Dreams, White Sandy Beach. Yeah. So, you know, the guy is singing, and there's an ukulele player and stuff like doing the ukulele parts and stuff. And then when in the end it's like on a white sandy beach, like that part right there, he's elongating those notes. Do not play there, like, at all. He's still singing, you know, but then, like, I guess they thought it was, like, safe because it's just a note that was, like, kind of held, and he did this, like, kind of riff there, and I was like, no, don't do it! Like, oh! And it just, like, took me out of the song, you know, because, like,
he's, like, elongating it.
Right.
Just to, like, keep the audience...
Because he goes, like that's the line. But then if you add anything in there, it's not gonna go well. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe a Kimo Hasi could probably, or maybe a Brian Tolentino could have done something in there. But
like kind of
it was it's really, really, really tough. Like I wouldn't dare.
Yeah, don't.
Just strum. Maybe I'll just do a roll or something in there.
Just
that would be the at the most that I would put in there. But some people can, some people can't. And this night in particular, that ukulele player,
like a really harsh pull off kind of
just wasn't. Not saying that guy's not good or that guy's bad and stuff. It's just there's bad choices sometimes, right? That doesn't reflect on their skill or whatever. It's just sometimes we make bad choices. I made lots of terrible choices when it comes to picking, but. Yeah, that's like a prime example. Me as an audience member, like listening to this song, I'm like lost in it. I'm like, it's one of my favorite Kamaka Viva songs.
Because you kind of like you're hanging on that note, waiting to see when he brings it back,
and then bam,
but somebody's talking in the corner or something.
Oh no! Yeah,
I like that is also like we talked about kind of like how you can see spaces or like empty spaces as things to be filled, but definitely do not overlook the power of just having silence or like having those breaks. Those breaks do add so like Shiki no Uta, is that
Shiki no Uta?
Like in the intro for that song, right? It goes dun 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 dun, and it like those beats between. It's like you just feel it. Like it is a part of the rhythm, and I can't imagine filling that with anything. So
yeah, it would be too much.
You need the rest there.
Yeah, and like in the original song, or in the recorded version of it, it's just an electric guitar with like a little bit of a delay with like a guitar with delay, an electric guitar with delay. It just doing. It's not even chords and stuff. Like I went one step further and added chords because I was like, maybe I can get away with some chords in here, but nothing else. If I added some fancy schmancy thing in there, it wouldn't be Shiki no Uta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the
great song. Check out Shiki no Uta. I hope you Kira puts the link in the show notes. It's a great song.
A lot of the songs that he listed to in his question, like it is Japanese songs and I feel like, or it's anime songs.
Yeah.
And I feel like Japanese arrangements too, they definitely do things in a very tasteful way. So you do not want to overdo it.
Step on toes.
Yeah. So like just, be mindful of like, if there's a space, it's like in the real song, it's probably there for a reason. Yeah. Like, and you can fill it if you feel like that's what your arrangement's going to go towards. But weigh the pros and cons, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the longest answer in the world, but that's the best answer we can come up with. Do we have another question? That was a great discussion, by the way.
Yeah.
Kahai, thank you for that.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark.
So Colonel Time actually had a question, and Mark answered with, because like, okay, I'll just say that what Colonel Time's question is. I'm trying to build a list of songs to practice the requirement I'm trying to build a list of songs to practice.
Yeah.
The requirement is that these songs have to have a continuous 1, 2, 3, and 4 pattern for the thumb on strings 3 and 4, G and C, with the melody on strings 1 and 2. It is a challenge for me to be able to pick continuously with my thumb while trying to play a melody line. Practice/exercises recommendations are welcome as well.
Ooh,
and so like tough. So Mark, he said, or he responded with like Drop Baby Drop and TNC. And then I responded back with, because I've been working on some of these songs.
Yeah.
I responded with like The Man Who Can't Be Moved, Good Riddance, Landslide, Danny's Song, and then Romance More. It's like kind of finger picking songs. Yeah.
Yeah, those those are good. Those are good ones. Pretty much any kind of slow songs and stuff you can use. You can do things like what is that Eric Clapton song that we do? Wonderful Tonight is a good one. White Sandy Beach. We were just talking about that. It's another great one that you can do that too. Even stuff like Crazy Without You, can work. Stuck on You, it could work. Like any of the slow songs, or you can even take some of the faster tunes and stuff, slow it down. Or you can use that as a challenge, like play the faster tunes in the finger picking style but the same tempo. Like if you kind of speed up your finger picking patterns, that'd be good. But I would suggest for practice, taking some of the tunes and using that technique, too, and that kind of finger picking technique. And at the same time, you'll be learning new songs, you'll be learning new chord progressions, and you'll be getting better. So I think you should just keep that up.
Yeah. I like when I was recommending songs, I kind of was just like, okay, these are songs that I've recently come across, like barking on them, and so I was like, put them in, and then I thought like, oh, Landslide has like finger picking, so put that in, and I was like, oh, Danny's song, and then when I watched Danny's song and Landslide, they both use the same finger picking pattern in the intro for Danny's song anyway, right? So like, what I told them like is like, it's pretty cool. Like if you learn a finger picking pattern, don't just think that it's just gonna be for one song.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely take finger picking patterns and then just use it for everything, and that could be like how you practice it. If you already have a song that you're used to, just put a finger picking pattern onto it. Try it out. So,
that's good practice. Yeah. One more. We have time. One more.
Okay. There was. Sorry, I have to.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if there is. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about arrangements and stuff today, but let's talk about stuff that, because you guys know my catalog, but what was the first song that you ever wrote, Kahai?
First song that I ever wrote?
Yeah. Tell us about the first song that you wrote, and what was it about, and how did you get inspired? Because these people want to hear like I don't examples and stuff. I gave them my example, like how I did it. So
I don't even write songs to like enough to title them or anything.
But you've written like instrumentals and stuff, right?
Yeah, and in high school, like in my band class, I had friends, and I wanted to start like a ska band.
Yeah.
So I just like songs. I took like the intro riff to Superman, like by Goldfinger. And then just kind of like did that stuff like that. And I'm not really somebody who will be like, oh, I'm gonna write a whole song to completion. I just like
snippets.
Yeah, and then it's like, I make things that are fun for me to play, but not necessarily like songs or anything. Yeah. There's just like, if I have time, I'll just this is something that I don't know, I'll fool around with. So
what's your writing process like, Aaron? Because I'm a fan of your writing. I'm a fan of your songs. A fan of your writing. I'm a fan of you. In your eyes. I wish you guys could see them. Launch 1,000 ships.
I don't know. It all depends. Sometimes the chords come first, and then sometimes like the kind of the chorus, like
so you have
melody of the chorus, kind of comes first. But I don't know. It just kind of depends. A lot of times it just comes out of like noodling.
You have like great like concepts and stuff too. Like when you write, like you put like little Easter eggs in the things that you write. Like that, he wrote a song for my album called Replay, and you were playing with like the influxes like of the of the vocals, and then you made like you wrote lyrics specifically for the influxes in the voice. So like. It's genius. It was really good. Like, so how do you come up with that kind of stuff? Like,
I don't know. It's
some playful things in your arrangement, because that's what I would like to know. I would like to write better.
No, well, with that kind of stuff, it's just like because everything is based off of rhythm with music, right?
Right.
So like your basic rhythm that holds down everything is one rhythm, but then the cadence of the vocals is a different rhythm on top of that.
Yeah,
and it has to fit together.
Right.
They have to like be able to interlock. at certain junction points. And so when you have, you know, your basic rhythm at the bottom and then your melody line rhythm over that, you kind of like got to think of words that would fit the rhythm that you have in your brain for the melody line, and then your rhyme scheme can fit into that, you know. So I don't know, I guess
because that's like what like some like rappers do, you know, like they take like
it definitely
influxes and stuff, and you know,
some of the best rappers are the best at doing that.
Yeah, I was really impressed when you like came up with this, and you know like you presented this song to me like for the album, and you made sure that, you know, that I take note of that part where like, okay, this part, which is like Daniel's line. So if you guys have the I'm a Dream album, or if you guys like have Spotify or something, you can listen to it, or I don't know if it's on iTunes, but it's a song called Replay. Now Daniel Cummings has the has that part that we're talking about, the influxes and stuff, and it's really good. Like listen to those lyrics and listen to like when his voice kind of goes up. It has the same like syllable, like, or same kind of vowel.
Oh yeah.
It's like he uses really the same kind of, played with the same kind of vowel. It's really cool.
And that comes from listening to rap.
A lot of rap.
Yeah, like because if you listen to like Eminem does it a lot. He's one of those that's really really good at kind of that internal like rhyme scheme. Where he'll take the vowel sounds and he'll rhyme those. It's not really like the end sound of the word. It's more like the middle sound,
and he'll emphasize it. So he'll emphasize the ones that like
so that it has a cadence. So that it's kind of a memorable cadence.
That's why he's the rap god.
He's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
I didn't listen to his recent album, but people have been saying
Kamikaze
really good things about it.
It's like back to Slim Shady, but then again, it's like 2004, like kind of Slim Shady, you know. So some people are like, he's doing the same kind of thing, but it's like, no, you listen to those rhymes, you look at those lyrics, and then you listen to the influxes,
and then
like,
I also like that too. Yeah,
so
like
good.
If there's like a meaning behind it, I like double entendres.
Yeah, and like double, triple, quadruple meanings. Like it's awesome.
I think when me and Aaron, like when I talk to you, Aaron, it seems like you really do. Like you look for and you appreciate those like hidden things or like deeper techniques, right? That would take more to make and more to think about and do. So is that just like how, if you're gonna write a song, do you is it kind of just like that? Like you see somebody else that did that and it's like, oh, that's really cool. I want to do that for a specific song, or I'll keep that filed away to remember like, I gotta use this later on, or use this for something else.
Oh, I don't know. It's just stuff that just comes up in my brain, and I just end up.
Your brain is so fascinating.
Yeah, actually, there was one like. When was the last time that we saw Danielle ate the sandwich? It was like a long time ago.
Yeah, that must have been Denver, maybe? No.
But it was like a long time.
Not this past Denver.
Yeah, it was like a few times back. That has been there. It has been a while. It was like a long time ago.
Because I saw her, but you weren't there. I saw her in Florida, but you weren't there in Florida with me.
Yeah, so around that time, I wrote a song, like, and I had her in mind to sing it. Because it was kind of that, like, I was listening to some of her stuff, and then I just had that style in my brain. But and then I came up with like a concept for it too.
Oh, cool.
And so I have the whole song. We haven't seen her since then, so I haven't given it to her, like, you know. But I would definitely like, you know, like it. I mean, nobody else could sing that song. I don't think.
Danielle the sandwich.
But in my head, I had this idea of like, so it's kind of like you're in a time in your life where you just had a major breakup. And you're trying to get rid of this person in your brain,
right.
You know, but everything, all your thoughts just kind of connect, and it flows, and so everything kind of reminds you of them. And so like so in the song, I you know, like the first line starts, and then the end of the first line becomes the first word of the next line.
Cool,
and not that it repeats, it just continues. You know,
it's like another sentence, but it's like it shares the same, you know.
So the last word of the first kind of sentence becomes the first word of the next one, the next line. And then the last word of the next line becomes, and it goes through the whole thing.
Do you finish the phrase with the last word, or do you finish the phrase before the last word, and that last word becomes the first word? So like that.
Yeah, no, it's just It's like a stream of consciousness.
Right.
So the first line is, I wear a coat that's falling apart. On the inside front pocket lies a note. So the inside front pocket.
Oh, cool.
You know,
that's
yeah.
Give it up.
Yeah, and then,
give it up.
So the idea of the song itself is that the memory of a person is like clothes. So like you're wearing clothes. So like this, to her, this guy that she just broke up with is like clothes, and you can take them on and off, but eventually you want to throw them away, or give them away.
Instead of keeping them around.
Instead of keeping them around, and like, it's kind of like I'm not totally ready to take off all this.
Danielle, just take the song, Danielle, and record it. I want to hear it already.
I still have to get it to her.
Hit her up on email and be like, hey, not for nothing.
But that's one of my favorite ones that I've written.
Cool. Right on.
And I can't imagine anybody else ever singing it.
I've heard a lot of great Aaron Nakamura songs. That's got to be one of you. And I've only heard like one line so far.
So each verse of the song is kind of making an allusion to a different item of clothing.
Oh, cool.
So
that's cool. See, I will never get to hear it unless Daniel A. the Savage takes it and sings it. It's the only way we can hear the song. Start a Kickstarter, Kai. Start a GoFundMe.
Start a GoFundMe.
Patreon or
Patreon. No. Patreon is we have to do a monthly song. Patreon.
No, we'll do a Patreon for like a month, and then we'll say like we made enough money to make a CD. Thanks, guys. See ya.
No, we just gotta pay. Guys, gotta get enough money to get Daniel the Sandwich to do it.
I don't want to. I don't want to diminish Aaron's
here
Aaron's
we go. I can't wait to hear.
I don't know if this will come out as an insult, but
you better not say anything to my Aaron Nakamura.
Well, one of my favorite Fall Out Boy songs is "Dead on Arrival."
Oh, you're gonna compare Aaron to Fall Out now? Just
that's why I don't know. It's and it's like old Fall Out Boy, but it's like "Dead on Arrival," and then the song goes "Dead on Arrival, kept so deep." So like arrival and rivalry.
Yeah, and so there's a bunch of those kind of things in there too. Nice. Yeah,
it always like that kind of stuff. Like it hit me, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love that. Like, and I think, like, when me and Aaron talk, we talk about, like, those little bits in music or whatever, where it's just like, did you see this, Aaron? Did you see this tiny detail that maybe, like, 10% of people are gonna get, but it's, like, so satisfying when you do.
Yeah, I mean, great songs. Like, if you have any more copies of the Almost Hawaiian album, I would like it for Christmas, please. Because I don't know where I put mine, and I love that album, and I don't know where I put it. Did you guys like do it yourself? Like,
So that, like, I had a band when I was in high school, and we just played at restaurants and bars and stuff. And before, like, I was a sophomore, and the other guys were like either juniors or seniors, and so we decided before the seniors moved on that we would record an album. And so there's like a bunch of covers, and then there are a few original songs.
Did you write most of them?
Yeah, except for
did Cody guys write stuff too?
We had a couple that were written for us too.
Oh yeah, Big Mac was written.
Right?
See, I love that album. Like I can still I know the tracks of it. I had it signed by. I went to Aaron's show, bought the album, and had it signed by Aaron Nakamura.
And then Island Rain was Hawaiian Teddy Bear.
Oh really? He wrote that song for you guys?
He wrote that song.
Can you feel the island rain? Yeah. Falling down.
You should.
I'm a big fan.
Aaron, give him another album, and when he asks you to sign it again, say, "No, I don't do that anymore."
but that was
the rarest of rarest Pokemon. The almost
shiniest of shiny.
That was kind of like when I was in high school. That was kind of like I was starting to play around with those different ideas. So like, there's a couple songs where I like deliberately use like opposite words. You know, but throw it in there so that you don't notice. You know, it's like up and down. I'll throw it in and just like casually. You know, but like just so you wouldn't notice, but it kind of like, you know, and then I think I did like some, I forget.
There was a song that you put in. He had a MySpace once, Kahai. He was A-Money on MySpace. A-Money here had some songs on his MySpace. Music, I like that song. You know that you did a lot. Like you wrote a song called Music. I remember that was on my page because you know like how you can put like even music on your MySpace. Yeah, I featured that song Music on my MySpace page. Some girls were like, "Oh, I like that song, your MySpace page." Like, oh, I know that guy.
It was like, I was trying to be like
a close person friend.
Acoustic guitar, whatever singer-songwriter kind of.
You know, like that's my friend. It's my friend Aaron Nakamura. You know, you wanna come over and have some dinner sometime? Maybe you can get Aaron to come over. And then Aaron never comes over. And it's just me and the girl with some spaghetti. Like Lady in the Tramp style. On that note, one last.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Kai.
There's a question from Ariana Grande.
Okay, Ariana.
Welcome back. What are your top? See, we're learning so much about her. Secret Otaku. Ariana Grande. Yeah. What are your top must-learn anime songs?
Shikinuta.
That's a good one. Everything by Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Yeah, basically. I would learn what is that song? It's from Headchala. Would be a great one. I love Headchala. What was that Naruto ending that had like a weird like 7-5 or like, you know, time signature? It was like a weird time signature.
That guy is like a solo artist, right?
Yeah, like, that one. I think that would be the ultimate like, you know, ukulele sound to play. Was that 5? Is it 5?
It switches or something.
Yeah, it's like a weird like time signature. So that one is a good one. What is it called?
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, that one. I always wanted to make an arrangement for that song. I think that would be my top 3. It'd be Shikinuta, Headchala from Dragon Ball Z.
It's Wind by Akeboshi.
And Wind by Akeboshi. Oh my goodness, that song is so crazy. It's got such a crazy like time signature, and it's got a crazy like beat to the it's insane. It's insane. I tried it, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna let someone else do this.
I think that might have been like one of the first things we talked about when I was working here. It's like talking about anime, and it's like, oh, you know what song I always like is "Wind" by Akeboshi. And you're like, oh, I tried to do that.
Yeah. It's a tricky song.
It's a pretty hard song.
But all right, guys, that's gonna be it for Thursday Live Lessons. It's been fun filled. We learned a lot about Aaron Nakamura today, and people are gonna be hunting down on eBay for an almost Hawaiian CD,
or contacting Danielle Ate the Sandwich.
If there's anyone who knows Danielle Ate the Sandwich, she already knows that Aaron wrote her song and stuff. But she's like, oh, that's cool. But, you know, we got to get her to actually go learn and play it.
You know what we should do? We should do a duels with Aaron.
With
just Aaron. And Aaron has to play all his songs. Like, he can only play his original songs.
I would learn all the picking patterns. So
and then for the interview section, you can just be like, so how did you write this song? Can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, Big Mac is one of my favorite songs in that album. That and reggae music gonna make you feel irate. So good. Anyway, yeah, this is it. That's it for Thursday Live Lessons. Stick around for Ukulele Underground Songs Made Easy, and then after that we have the one-on-one coaching. So plenty of stuff here. It is Thursday. It is fun-filled Thursday here on Ukulele Underground. My name is Aldrine Guerrero. That's Aaron Nakamura. Kahai Fergan. Aloha.